So I've been unemployed for like 2 weeks now. I got laid off like 2 weeks ago.
In case you didn't know, I was laid off from Calendly earlier this year, and yesterday I heard 70 more of my friends and previous coworkers were laid off.
I was laid off last January, and damn, that shit was traumatic. So the day before, I am having a very productive day. I'm meeting with my director. I'm showing him my big presentation for the next day. He says nothing. He's not giving any hint.
What's up, Financial Hawks? So today's video, we're going to be going over some more tech layoffs. It has been a minute since I made a video on the channel, but I'm back, been grinding. And yeah, you know, it's what, February or maybe March by the time this video comes out. But yeah, it's still crazy out here in the job market. I am seeing, again, a lot more jobs opening up. I've been getting like a whole lot of like recommendations on LinkedIn, Indeed, on like cyber jobs. But with that being said, still, we're still seeing a lot of layoffs in the tech sphere and a lot of other spheres. And I'm not seeing it ending right at this moment, or, you know, not anywhere within like the next month or two. But let's go ahead and go over some of these videos of some of these people kind of like talking about being laid off, some of the trauma of getting laid off of some of these tech companies. And I'll kind of just share my thoughts on ways they can maybe, you know, get to the next point or whatnot. And for you guys to comment in the comment section as well for these people for different ways that they can like maneuver through this wild time in the workplace, the tech workplace, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and start out this first video here.
Thought about how Google really did it right in terms of work culture and being inclusive and things like that. What I haven't talked a lot about is how the layoffs work. I was laid off last January, and damn, that shit was traumatic. So the day before, I am having a very productive day. I'm meeting with my director. I'm showing him my big presentation for the next day. He says nothing. He's not giving any hint. There's been no hints of layoffs in the company. No one's been talking about it. Sure, as a broader like industry, it had been talked about, but like we had nothing in our team that had been said the word layoff. Okay. So in the day, I go to sleep and I wake up randomly at 5 a.m, like jolting with anxiety. But that's kind of normal for me. So I check my phone and I'm seeing lots of text messages. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I go to log on to my work computer, locked out. The panic is setting in. I go to my personal email. Nothing's there. I see online people said it went to their junk. I go to my junk. Oh, I've been laid off. And then from there, it was just silent. A few hours later, I finally got a call from my director. He said he couldn't really tell me anything. He couldn't tell me who else laid off, like anything. Hours and hours later, I finally hear from my boss, and she was like, I was laid off. I don't even know who else was. Like, it was a shit show, and it was terrifying. I'm just a little traumatized is all I can really say.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely be traumatized too if I was in that situation. But unfortunately, you know, that's a case that you're seeing is like more and more now with these companies. Like everybody doesn't know everything, like they, or at least the higher ups don't necessarily know all the time when you are going to be laid off. So, you know, sometimes your supervisor is telling you the truth if like they really just learned that, you know, that you're about to get laid off right then and there or earlier that day. So yeah, I would just say with that being the case, always be, you know, wary, always be working on, you know, writing down your accomplishments that you've done for your job so that you can put that on your resume in case that you do get fired. You don't have to just, you know, remember. That's kind of what I've been doing like for a while. Every time I like do certain things, I just like, you know, to document it so I'm able to remember it, because sometimes I'm like, dang, I kind of forgot some of the stuff I've done at this job, but then I can look at my notes and I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, I've done a lot. So yeah, right now, if you're watching this video, I would start doing that now. So just, you know, just have like a little, you know, like notepad. You can even put it on your phone if you want to. Kind of just jotting down the different like accomplishments and things that you've done that has helped the company out, and kind of just been jotting those down, you know, while you're, you know, actively working there. You don't have to do it necessarily every day, but, you know, whenever you got something big, or if you want to, maybe like once a week or once a month, kind of should jot down the stuff you've done that month or whatnot, that can help you out a lot later on. So that will be my first like tip on that, because again, you can get fired at any time. So just having that there, you're able to, you know, work and put that on your resume, and, you know, make that resume work a whole lot better. My second advice too, right now, if you are doing pretty well, but you're not ever sure if that company will be laying off people, you know, next month or 2, 3, 4 months from now, you can always, you know, you don't have to spend that much time, but go to like YouTube, for example, and look at like the STAR method questions, and kind of should go over some of the interview questions regarding like the STAR method. And that should, you know, just kind of keep you fresh, kind of keep you good, you know, there. You can also apply to different jobs as well still, if you have even like no intention of actually taking a job, so that you can see how you actually deal with talking with people, talking with HR again. That can definitely help out as well. But that's just some of my advice I would give if you are kind of wary, possibly that you could be, laid off, maybe a month, 2, 3, 6 months from now. If you kind of should start preparing right now, it won't hurt you, because if you still stay in the company, you're good. But if you don't, you're already prepared. So, that kind of just my 2 cents there. Next up, guys, let's go ahead and see what he's talking about on his side of the tech layoffs. Definitely intrigued to see. He looks like he's a little bit older, or it could be, yeah. He actually did look kind of older, but let's see.
Are due to influencers. I was wondering how much of the tech layoffs are due to influencers doing day in the life videos.
So none of it is because of those videos. Those videos were paid for by those organizations' marketing teams or talent acquisition team to advertise that business as a place to work so they'd get more applications. Those are where the day in the life videos were coming from. They got money for doing those. But why there's so many tech layoffs is in 2 reasons. Organizations saw a recession coming, which meant they were going to make more money, which meant they were going to grow less. And for a lot of those organizations who lost money year over year, think Uber, Lyft, they lose money. They couldn't lose as much money because they weren't going to be able to get it from investors. That meant they had to reevaluate how many people they actually needed. Were people actually making the company money or costing the company money? And how much do we need to grow next year? Only 5%, not 100%. So we need 500 less people.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree with all that. I think I agree maybe about a good percentage of it. This first guy is talking about the reason that the tech layoffs were there because of the people talking about, making those videos or like, hey, day in the life of a person working at Google, and like the whole day they're like doing nothing. I've seen videos of people talking about like only working like an hour or 2 for the whole week. And the salary was like 150,000 plus. So yeah, that's crazy right there. Now he's saying like that's the reason for it. The other guy saying is not the reason for it, or it's not the reason for it, but also too the companies themselves were paying, for this. Now, yes, so there were companies, paying like for social media clout or whatnot. Like, hey, working with us, it can be good, it can be great. But that was not all of these companies. I think I know exactly which one he's talking about. But there were some blatant ones that were people were saying they weren't doing anything. They were not working. They were literally just chilling, chillaxing the whole week, doing nothing. Maybe 1 to 2 hours max a week. The companies weren't paying for those videos. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, like it's blatant, like the backlash in the comments, like, bruh, if you have this high paying job and you're not really doing anything at all, why are you letting everybody know this? And again, like that was during a time, I guess people thought they couldn't get fired, like, hey, I'm just doing this. Nothing can go wrong. And sure enough, bam, it's just like that. So no, you people doing those videos did not help out at all. And there was just another reason for companies to lay off people. Now, yeah, there were some companies, again, that were showing, paying people or whatnot to, talk about good about the company and XYZ, showing those type of day in the life. But those weren't the majority at all. I've seen plenty of ones that were blatant, like you weren't even supposed to be recording. I've seen these videos of people recording in their, work and whatnot. And then they had to make other YouTube videos talking about it later. Like, oh, I had to take out this video because of XYZ. I had to blur out all of this now because of XYZ. Because somebody at the company ended up seeing the video. Either somebody was just randomly on YouTube watching it and just saw it, or probably got someone in the comments probably messaged the company because the company was everywhere on the video. So yeah, watch out for that. If you are lucky to get a job that you're really not doing that much and you're still getting paid a lot of money, don't just go online just posting like, hey, I'm not doing anything. Like, you would think that would be common sense, but it is not. And now look at where we're at now. All those people getting fired, working those 150K plus, doing nothing. Now you're fired now. Now you're fired because of you. Yeah, and I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you for yourself getting fired for that, because that's crazy right there. That is super crazy. But I forgot what he's talking about in the second part of this video here. But yeah, that first part, I just had to address that right there. Yeah, there were people blatantly just out here just was like, hey, I'm not doing anything. I'm still getting paid and nothing's going to happen to me. And now you're fired. Next up, guys, let's go ahead and let's play this next video. Let's see what he's talking about. Hopefully, nothing too crazy, but let's see.
rough for tech workers in the Bay Area right now. So I've worked for a company in the tech space for the last 3 years. This time last year, we did a big round of layoffs. I was able to keep my job. This time, this year, announced today, they are likely doing layoffs again. I think it'll probably hit in February. And I am not feeling very hopeful that I will keep my job. So if you are hiring at your company for marketing, I do brand marketing, influencer, social, I do partnerships, just general brand, digital, every digital touch point. Let me know. I have about 12 years of experience total. I'm a hard worker. I work cross-functionally. What other buzzwords? I move the needle forward. I am good at project management. Yeah, let me know.
Okay, I like that video because she is already ahead of the game. I like at the end kind of giving some of those buzzwords, keywords that you can write down on your resume that can make it look good for yourself and also while you're talking with hiring managers. But yeah, I'm glad that she's at least, already prepared. 'Cause you get like I've been seeing like videos of people like they get in the situation that they think they won't ever get fired ever. And like when they do get fired, like they just act super, super shocked, but it's like all of the like not all the time, but some of the time, the ones I'm talking about, it's like all of these signs are there, yet you are, blatantly closing your eyes to those. So again, I've talked about this before, but even if you think you are going to be at the job that whole year, you can still right now start jotting down some of the accomplishments that you've done. Again, it's so easy to forget what you've done last year that can help out the company, 2 years ago, what you did to help out the company, but you probably done a lot that can look good, not only to hiring managers. Well, yeah, mainly to hiring managers, but also to other staff members at other companies too, who may not actually be hiring, but they may be part of the hiring process. So yeah, whenever you do something big, just, jot it down or whatever you're doing, like your weekly task. Start jotting those down. You maybe like your monthly tasks. Start jotting those down and kind of just have like a paper trail of some of the things that you've done, and that will again, I'll just help you and make it easier for if you do end up, getting fired from your job, or heck, maybe you might see another job that you may like. It just will be so much easier to put that on your resume because you already got like a good amount of things that you've done. You can pick out some of the best things, maybe combine some things, put some bullet points on your resume and send that resume in for that high paying job. People may end up hitting you up as well. So, this is something else right there. And lastly, too, I didn't give this step before, or at least earlier on this particular video series, but another thing you can do too is make a YouTube channel. You can kind of talk about, again, some of your accomplishments, or maybe give like scenarios and examples of some of the things that you deal with and that you have done. And that can be good as well, because when these employers are looking at your YouTube channel, like if you put this on your resume, they can kind of get a sense of you, like they can see how personable you are as a person. And when I was applying to a whole lot of jobs, they've always talked about my YouTube channel and how that was a good way to kind of show some of my skills, but also them seeing me as a person, because them seeing you, just your highlights and whatnot that you write on a resume, that's one thing, but them actually hearing you, seeing if you're sincere or not, seeing if you're actually that kind or empathetic person or not, just seeing that, it's a lot different. And then again, just writing it down that you're empathetic. So, something to think about right there. And next up, guys, let's see what she is talking about. Meta layoffs. That's another company I would not mind actually working for, but let's see what she's going to talk about. Let's see if it's going to make or break me wanting to work for Meta.
Hey. So you may have heard that there were going to be layoffs at Meta in the recruiting department. That's me. I'm a technical recruiter, so come with me and see if I got laid off. I'm going to check my email right now. All my friends have been hitting me up telling me that their whole team got let go, all of these things. So let me see if I'm one of them. Your administrator has suspended your Meta Dropbox account. You no longer have access to the account and files. Okay, y'all, here's the email. I got laid off at Meta. I'm looking at the email right now. You've recently heard that the hiring freeze will be extended until the end of H1 as the Sarah decision to lay off a large part of the demand delivery team. Unfortunately, you've been included in this layoff. First and foremost, we want you to know that you have our deepest gratitude for all you've contributed, et cetera, et cetera. Damn, y'all, got laid off. So guess what that means, okay? My TikTok is about to pop.
Okay. Okay. Now, I think this video was actually made, I think in December. So, I mean, this is like a few months from, now this is like February, or maybe by the time this is posted, it could be March. But I think this was like in December or like November of last year. But regardless, people from Meta and all these companies are still laying off people. And this is actually a good point. I've seen people talk about this in the comments of like how some of these people who are getting laid off at the tech companies, like they aren't really like techie themselves, and that's the correct term. Like they work for these tech companies, but they're not in the tech side of things. Like for example, like you've seen a whole lot of people getting laid off of jobs, but you're not really seeing that many people who are like in cybersecurity getting laid off, for example, right? You are seeing a lot of recruiters, not just in tech, but like in general, just getting laid off. I've seen a lot of recruiters getting laid off and, having to grind and apply and, go to another recruiting job at another company. And I think part of this is, yeah, some of these companies are trying to, lay off people, and, them laying off, maybe like an excess amount of recruiters, but still keeping some of the technical people there. You can still save money there. And have less people, you're paying less benefits and whatnot. But also too, you have like all these new tech that can help you out with finding people to hire for your company. So you need less recruiters because you got all the, AI and all these other things right here that when people put in the resume in, the computers are doing all the work and you're not necessarily needing as many recruiters. So if you are a recruiter, this is something I would think about as well, with the future. And again, with AI, becoming more advanced and just the way that people are applying and getting jobs right now is becoming more and more just computer based. Heck, I have even myself went to an interview where it was like online and I'm just talking to like like nothing, like it's like a prompt and I just answer the prompt and I guess it records me. So then maybe every recruiter can see it later, or maybe the AI maybe examines it and see if I'm answering the questions correctly before I get to the next step. So it's like getting jobs is becoming more and more, or less and less human and more like machine. So, this is something to think about as well. If you are a recruiter, you don't necessarily have to give up that career, but this is something that, just to think about. Maybe you may want to, get yourself in a place that is very hard for a company to, lay you off versus everybody else. But that is something to be mindful about as well, that it's not just the people who are tech savvy themselves or doing all the technical stuff themselves, but people who are simply working at the tech company. So yeah, this is something to be wary of because again, if this happening in one sphere, it's happening in a lot of other spheres as well. And even with the recruiters, you are seeing it with the tech people. I mean, tech jobs, tech companies, but recruiters are getting laid off at other companies as well. And I'm intrigued to see how it's going to end up ending by the end of 2025 and maybe even next year, 2026. Now, lastly, let's go ahead and play this one. The big tech layoffs. Oh, wow. I already laid out 19,000 people at her former job. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see what she's talking about. I'm definitely intrigued.
1,000 people at my former employer today. I got laid off from there last year and I worked there for 24 years. And something about today, like I handled my layoff quite well. I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't sad or didn't have any emotions. Of course I did. After 24 years getting laid off, that sucks. But I kind of have handled it pretty well emotionally. Specifically, I've been like a lot better at navigating it than I thought I would be. But today, like a year plus later, seeing the announcement today of 19,000 people losing their jobs. And not only that, they like decimated the benefits package for the people that are still there. And yes, I have a feeling they're going to cut people's pay and all kinds of stuff, which is just horrible. And it enraged me in a way today that I can't even explain how angry I was. I worked in my backyard on some landscaping for like 2.5 hours. I cut my hand. I broke my power washer. I aggressively pruned a lot of trees in my backyard. But when I finally like kind of came down and, relaxed and chilled out a little bit, like felt the rage dissipate, it was the news articles, the news articles and the comments from the C-suite that enraged me because it's sort of like, basically, the emperor has no clothes. And I know I wasn't the only one working there that raised the flags on certain things. It just have a bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing today. And I'm feeling really sad about people losing their job in a job market that already sucks shit. Corporate greed. 2 thumbs down.
Okay, you know what? I've talked about different ways people can, I guess, get from point A to point B after you get laid off at a job. But at the end of the day, you're like never like really truly safe at all these companies. Maybe if you're like the top CEO, maybe then CEO can get, I guess you can get fired from that too, I guess. However, usually you get those golden parachutes where you get laid off or you get fired or whatever. You get like millions of dollars still and all this stock and all these bonuses still that you still getting. Whereas the common folk doesn't get all that. So again, with that being said, and I'm going to keep repeating this, just be mindful that you can get laid off in any of these job spheres, job niches, job corners of the universe. You got the tech side of things, you got the agriculture side of things, you got this side of thing, this side of thing, this side of thing, automobile side of things, etc., etc. You can get laid off. So it's more important for you just to be more vigilant and just prepared for how things can go. Things will continually, increase in price. Inflation, for example, has increased by a ton. Just a ton within the last few years. And there's plenty of videos of people talking about it. I've talked about it before. Also, too, we got like tariffs as well. I don't think the tariff's going to be going on for like ever. I think it's going to be maybe for a few months, in the United States. So you're paying higher taxes there on certain things as well. So again, kind of just being more mindful that everything's going to keep increasing. So you yourself are going to have to increase yourself. You're going to have to, upskill yourself, keep upskilling yourself. At the bare minimum, start writing down accomplishments that you've done at your job so that you can go ahead. And if you do get laid off or whatnot, you can put that on your resume. It's easy to remember. You should not having to grasp for, straws of like, dang, what did I do 2 years, 3 years ago at my job that was so good? I can't recall. You should jot those things down now so you don't have to recall that information. It would just make it a whole lot easier to update your resume for your next job. Second thing, if you want to do a little bit more, start upskilling yourself. Start working on like, hey, okay, I like this position I'm in now, but I might need to start working towards the next position so I can start making more money, so I can start beating this inflation even more versus getting my yearly, little bonus that, or my yearly, pay raise that may not actually be that much in the long term if you compare to how much the inflation has also increased. So you're actually paying more every single year on everything else. And the amount of money that you have gotten increased with is not really breaking that. So start upskilling yourself. If you don't know where to go, look at YouTube or go to Google and type in kind of like what type of job that you're looking for. Type in time map, type in like journey, and kind of just get a sense of maybe people working in that industry and how they can kind of share some of their thoughts and how they transition to, their current position. So you can kind of see if you line up with that and kind of just go from there. But people just saying like complacent and just staying like the same and thinking everything is going to be all right. Yeah, it's not going to be for most people. Again, because everything's going to constantly increase. So yeah, that's what I would give my 2 thoughts on that. At bare minimum, start writing down your accomplishments. But if you can though, start upskilling yourself. Start reading some more as well. I think that's always great. I just got done reading the Jaleel White book. I know that's not necessarily related to my industry, but I learned a lot still, and it kind of helped me out with how I'm going to look at jobs and look at like relationships within like my company with people, but also in the regular world as well. So I got a lot from that, and I'm also now starting back on some older cybersecurity books that I wanted to get into. So because I was talking to the talk, I'm actually actively doing this as well, so that I'm also prepared. Even though everything is going good right now, you never know, and even still, you may get to the place that you're doing so good that you're not getting laid off, but you may see another opportunity at another company that's like right there, or they may hit you up right there. And you're already prepared. You already got all your stuff. You kind of been writing down. You've been upskilling yourself already. So you're able to take that next opportunity and do even better. So it's just a win-win situation right there. But anyway, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.